Hey everybody, we're back. Okay, so let's see if my guest can join me. Wrdz Dhamma, if you're out there, come join me live. Make sure you have your phone sideways. Hey everybody. All right. Let's see what we can do here. All right, guy. Join in and I can add you. Hi, everybody. I'm back. Sorry for the delay. We were having some technical difficulties, but we are back. And I'm waiting for my guest to join me wherever you are. Wrdz Dhamma. Join me, my friend. So this is Teany Hidalgo again. Here we go. Oh, making it happen, making it happen. It takes a village, y'all. It takes a village. He is connecting. We are connecting.
I think it's finally working.
I think we're...
Finally, I made it.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I was like, this is my field, technology. And I was like, why is it I'm not getting it? Why?
This is my field, user experience. So I got to say, Facebook, I'm not really that impressed with your interface. And the ability to add people to this stuff is not exactly user-friendly. But whatever. It's all good.
Not at all. All right, we're going to have to write a letter
Whatever.
to them.
How are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is a great honor for me to be here. I was honestly, this is one of my first interviews, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And
I hope you're excited. We're excited to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to pull up some information that I could talk about.
Okay, good.
But basically, so
let's get started a little bit before you go into anything specific, okay? So I want to give everybody a preview. Okay. First of all, this is Teany Hidalgo, and I'm here with Wrdz Dhamma, and he is my, topic of the day, and wonderful person. And the whole point of this whole series is really to empower people, encourage them to discover their passions, and that's why I bring people like him onto this program. So let me tell you a little bit about him. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, New York. And he lives in Long Island right now with his 2 kids, a boy and a girl. So he survived. So here's his backstory, y'all. Y'all be interested in this. His backstory is he survived childhood abuse, drug abuse, and overdose, and was an ex-gang member. He currently raps about his past experiences, the great insights he's gained through meditation practice, which I love meditation too, by the way. Oh, awesome. And his music is carefully crafted to be like medicine for the hearts and minds of people that seek to change their lives as he did in order to reach their great potential. I love that. Love, 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 love that. And at the end, I'll give you guys some information on how to reach out to him. But first, I'll give you that intro, and I'd love for you, my friend, to introduce yourself a little better. Again, this is the Purpose with Passion series, and this is my guest, Wrdz Dhamma. So, hi. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hi.
After that brief intro.
Well, basically, everything what you mentioned is it's unfortunate past, my unfortunate past, but honestly, it became fortunate because it became the fuel to push me forward to have a new life. And basically, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg. At that time, it was in the 1980s, where the streets of Brooklyn were running rapid
We're
with
rough. Yeah.
drugs everywhere. It was horrible, and there was a lot of gangs. You had the New York bikers and Hell's Angels, and crack was everywhere. And so growing up, I witnessed and seen these things, people being strung out with drugs. And at a young age, I knew what it was. I learned what it was. And seeing, witnessing my first, at the age of 7, seeing a person get shot in the head, seeing a lot of horrible things growing up. And it left a huge impact on my thinking. And that was just a tip of, just a starting point. And then eventually, my challenges were more with my dad.
Right.
Although I'm going to, talk about my father, I don't want to, I don't like to say any negative thing of anyone, even my father. Although, he did certain things in my life that affected me.
Well, everything is an influence
and
for sure.
Left very much. So, and he was a hard worker. And eventually, I think his frustrations in life, working day and night shifts, hardly ever home, and hardly got to see him. He was just very strict with his religious thinking. We were raised as evangelical, born-again Christians, so we were really living in a strict household.
Yeah.
I had to wear a tie and button down and slacks to school every day, and I was the kid that really stood out. And in fact, my name was Church Boy.
Wow.
And they used to call me Church Boy. And eventually, it was just hard for me. Eventually, kids were like picking on me and growing up like that. And so, long story short,
these are the stories that fuel our fire, right?
Yes. And at the age of 13, he passed away. And when he passed away, it was really something sad for us. Me and my brother and sister, we cried a lot. But eventually, it dawned on me that it was almost like freedom. Sad to say. And I finally had a moment where I can try to live my life. And so then eventually, I started just learning things on my own. And then my brother got married, my sister got married, and they left me and my mom. And I was the younger one. So from there, I didn't really have much of a role model, because my mom, although she is a role model, but she wasn't, there was a communication barrier, because she spoke mostly Spanish and I spoke mostly English. So we couldn't really like express each other. It was really hard. And I used to get frustrated when I just try to explain myself, and eventually the communication started dying out.
Yeah.
And then I was introduced to the streets at the age of 15, and then met friends, and then at the age of 16 became a gang member, and I would say at the age of 17 started experiencing with drugs and doing things in the street, and eventually going to jail and everything. And then I would say at the age of 19 is when I had an overdose. It was at a club, and I was mixing uppers and downers, and eventually my body gave up, and I just passed out. And,
wow.
It was very scary. It was very scary. It's a long story. Eventually I would like to talk about it, but that was my turning point in my life.
Yeah.
And from there, I realized I had to change my life. And from there, at that time, the only thing I knew was Christianity. So that's why I ran to. And then I gave myself completely to Christianity. I got baptized. I became a member of the church. I was full-time there every day. And eventually I started building there, getting wisdom and learning, reading the Bible. I'm going to Bible school. Then I was being groomed to be an evangelist. And at that time, I started going to hospitals to pray for the sick, the prison, jails to talk to the people that are incarcerated, and it was a good experience. And I did that for 3 years, and practicing celibacy. I was like a monk.
Wow.
Nothing. It was
always
just
good
great.
intentions. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. And eventually, what happened at the end? I just got burnt out. I was just giving out too much of my energy, and I wasn't really taking care of myself. And the second thing was that eventually I couldn't agree with certain things. And then I had to pull away. So that was on the third year. And so then around, I would say, at the age of 22, I just took a time off from everything. And I just went on just to live my life. But then from there, I started discovering more of my ego and started building more on that.
Yeah.
And then I started rapping, and I started like trying to just trying to get recognition in the streets. And I started performing in the little clubs here and there. But it was, of course, it wasn't going anywhere. So I'm just going to fast forward. But at the age of 33, because I'm 41 now.
A young 41.
Yeah, I'm a young 40. God, yeah, and my birthday's coming up. So you guys, if you want to send me a gift. So at the age of 33, that's when my children's mother was pregnant with my son. At that time, I knew that I needed to clean up my act a little bit more. So, but I was like, I don't want to run back to Christianity because there's a lot of things I don't agree with. So I can't go back there, although I did. So I went back to a church and I gave it a shot one more time. And then I heard the preaching, and it was so, oh my God, it was so condemning that I left like hurt. I was like, I can't. I felt sick. It was just a lot of condemnation of people being sent to hell if they're sinful, and it was just too much. I was looking for compassion.
Yeah. A lot of the things that call people is always, like I said, like good intentions, but you always have to check in with your soul, like with you being your authentic self, like what actually calls to you, what drives you, what can you pursue or be part of that really soothes who you are as a person, right? So it's nothing against religions or anything else. It's whatever works for you. All right. Just want to make that clear for you guys that are listening.
Yes. No, I have nothing bad to say about any religion. I've learned so much from Christianity. And it gave me the foundation to channel, to connect with the higher source, God, whatever you want to call it. It was just certain things that I couldn't agree with. It wasn't agreeing to my soul, but I love everything about it. I love Jesus and everything he stands for. In fact, that's who I would love to be like Christ-like. And so then at that time, I was looking around and I started just Googling stuff and so I went to different, I went to temples, ashrams, mandirs, in an event at the time I was drawn to Buddhism. And from there, I started just reading. The first book was the Dhammapada, which is this book right here. Right there.
Yeah.
And that book actually helped me a lot. And it reminded me so much of the Proverbs and like in the Bible, Psalms, if you ever read it. And that's where I got most of my inspiration from. Bhagavad Gita, Quran.
I think we lost him a bit. I think we lost you a little bit. What was it you said?
Oh, I'm sorry. And then what I did was pretty radical. And this, I'm going to explain how I got this Facebook page. This was 8 years ago. I created this page. And the reason why I created this page was because I
So you were Wrdz Dhamma 8 years ago.
Well, not really. I didn't have that name. But
oh, okay.
I'll tell you what Wrdz means. Wrdz basically is my name, William Rodriguez, condensed into words.
Oh,
which
neat.
Also means wordplay, which is words for my
very
love
creative,
for
poetic
music. Thank you. And then I gave it meaning also for each letter, which W means wake up, and it's to wake up to our current situation. Is it good? Is it bad? Do we need to change? What's up?
Yeah.
So we have to wake up to our current situation. Once we wake up and we're honest with ourselves, then we reconnect. We reevaluate first. Reevaluate, reconnect, revive, rekindle, and there's so many great things. It's almost like you have to go back to that. Go back to the original source, which is you, that innocence that we had when we were children.
Absolutely.
And what
I say that's our true selves,
Yeah. And that's why what I've learned when Christ used to say that in order to experience the kingdom of heaven, you have to be like children again. And it's true. It's because children don't have that. They don't have the judgments. They don't have biased thinking. They're just free, and they use their imaginations and their creativity. And when we become adults, we're consumed by our circumstances and situations in life, and we forget. It's not that it leaves. It doesn't go anywhere. This power that's within us is in us, and that's who we are. That soul, that fire that's inside of us, that ineffable energy. So anyway, I totally went off topic.
No, I love it. I mean, this is the whole point of this whole program, to show people the fire that you've had. And some of you might have missed what he said, but he basically gave us a rundown of his history and where he came from, and some of the violent moments and pinnacle moments, I would say. And we've already talked a little bit about the questions. One of the questions I have for you, which what were your pivot moments? But so here we are. We're at the point where you've gone through all this stuff, and you created this Facebook group or Facebook name, right? This profile for yourself. And so the question is, how did you then, kind of hone all the stuff that happened to you, the essence of who you are, all your learnings from all the different sources, whether religious, not religious, spiritual, not spiritual, friends, maybe, values that you grew up with. Like, how did you hone your craft and become Wrdz Dhamma?
Well, I've been writing lyrics since, I would say, age of 7, since young, and just always used to rhyme. And in fact, I used to write lyrics with the pastor's son in Sunday school. Yeah. And we used to share it. And then we used to have battles back and forth. It would be like your mama jokes and stuff. It was so funny. It was just ridiculous. But we were just young kids and having fun.
Little did you know.
Little did I know, yeah. And then I started just write. I started continuing what he was teaching me. I started learning how to rap, and then I started rhyming, and then I started listening to beats, and I started flowing with it. Like I've mentioned that and when I was younger, it was more lyrics. I was just silly and unconscious, just doing crazy stuff, saying nonsense. But then when my son was born, I changed my thought, my mind, and I started just rhyming about what my life. And I started saying, I don't want to just live and be a good worker, or a good son, a good friend. I want to leave a mark on this earth. And in order to do that, I got to do something that's out of the ordinary. I got to share what has happened to me. And so that's why I'm really honored to be able tonight to talk
Yeah.
about what
Let me
happened.
ask you, does this phrase resonate with you? Because I heard this phrase once and I was like, oh my God, yes, that's it. That's what it means to like be passionate about what you love, right? And it says it goes something like, you know, it's like you can't live without sharing this part of yourself, right? Like it's so ingrained and such a big part of who you are that it hurts to not do it, right? It almost hurts to
Yes.
not be your true, authentic, passionful, purposeful self. Does that resonate with you?
Yes. Yeah, because you will see what happens is my experience is that when I'm not, let's say the time that I wasn't trying to pursue my purpose in life, I was just living my life, going to work and whatever, and trying to look good. And then I realized there's something missing. And then eventually what happens that I started feeling like this, it's almost like an emptiness, a void. And there's almost like this feeling that it's almost like a tug in your heart that that you were called for something. And you have something that the world needs. And everyone has this unique gift. And that gift is needed for certain people in life that you're going to meet.
What? Yeah.
And you need to activate it now so that when that moment, that timeline comes, when you hit that timeline in your life, you're ready and you can use that gift to save that person's life. Because that moment, that timeline could be a turning moment for that person. Maybe that person's thinking about suicide or divorce or is going to commit a crime. And you were chosen to be that vessel to help that person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and everything that we experience, and I'm sure you can, agree to this, because everything that you've experienced in your life leads to this moment, right? It leads to this moment of embracing who you truly are and taking everything that's happened to you and using it to fuel who you are now, right?
yes. Yeah, because just like when you go to the gym and they say, no pain, no gain. And that's how life is. When it hurts, it works. somehow it works because there's the pain turns out to be a blessing at the end. And I always say, and everyone knows this, that there's a purpose in everything that happens to us.
Absolutely.
And I always like to look at life like a book or a movie. Let's look at it like a movie. And you're the star of the show. You're the star of the show. You are this blockbuster actress right now, and this is your movie. And each scene, let's say the scene from yesterday, let's talk about it. Was it a scene that was a happy scene, or was it a sad movie, or was it a movie that you were just thinking all day and just run? Because that would be a boring movie, wouldn't it? So we want to just amp up our movie and make it amazing because we have that power. And in order to do that, we first had to, like I was mentioning, the WRDZ, which is the waking up to our current situation, reconnecting, and then the D, for me, it means Dharma, which basically can mean literature. It's important to feed our minds. That's going to empower us. Whether it be Christ, Buddha, Albert Einstein, Oprah Winfrey, anybody, Anthony Robbins, anything that's positive, indulge in it. That's the D part.
Yeah.
And that's the building. And then the Z means Zen, and basically is daily life, your lifestyle, creating that lifestyle. It's not just for today we're going to meditate. No, it's every day, but it's something you have to grow. Mm-hmm. You're not going to love it. Who loves meditating, sitting there for hours? But it's important to still the mind. Why? Because when the mind is much still and quiet, just like a raging waters, If there's raging waters, the boat keeps shaking and you can't even have a cup of tea.
Right.
But if the water is still, you can sit there and you can even look into the water and see your reflection. You can see your true self.
That reminds me of the Brewster quote, be like water, my friend.
Yes, be like water. And water's amazing because it forms into anything you put into
That's
a glass.
Right. That's why he said it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it could be gentle.
Yeah.
And it can crash and destroy a whole town.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just wanted to say one more thing about your movie reference, because I love using that. I actually have a whole meditation where I actually take people through sort of a vision of how they would see their lives in the future and in the past, and erasing the past to like get to the future kind of thing. And I was just thinking about movies, and like, you want to be the star of your own movie, obviously. And I was thinking of the movie where he says, you never put baby in a corner. Like, nobody puts baby in a corner. And I think that's how people live their lives, sitting in the corner, being a bystander, and not really participating in what their life could be. Thanks, Terrence. Terrence just said, be water, my friend.
That's right.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I love Bruce Lee. Yeah.
You have to be the star of your own show. True. You have to be in the present with your own life and your own message and whatever it is that you came to bring to this world. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that, because I think we have the tendency to let someone else be the star of the show, of our own show. That's when we give too much attention to a problem or to a certain person that's bothering you. We got to turn our attention to ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not being selfish. It's not being selfish. Because you have to love yourself.
Well, in a way it is being selfish, but being selfish is also being selfish for our own growth, And I was saying, I posted something the other day and I said, if I can't love me, then who will? If I can't love me the way I deserve, if I can't take care of me the way I deserve, then who will? Nobody will. It starts with you first, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So we have to be our best lover and our best. The problem also is that we are our own worst critique as also, and we tend to even maybe judge too much of what we are doing, and it's absolutely right. It first starts with loving yourself.
So to that point, one of the questions for you is, what is one or a couple of like beliefs and patterns that you think you've seen in people that really limit them from pursuing their passion? I mean, you're pretty much in it now, like you're pursuing it. You've pretty much realized that everything that you've learned that has happened to you is working for you and for your good and for your purpose, which is what you're bringing into the world. What do you think are limiting beliefs and thoughts about, that people have about pursuing what they love? What do you think stops people?
It's having doubt. When we doubt ourselves, when we don't really believe ourselves, we don't really know our talents, our strengths. It's important to know our strengths and our weaknesses. Yeah. It's and we do have some, and it's fine to know that, because that's how we master ourselves, by knowing our limits and our potential and our capabilities. But I definitely would say doubt is, prevents people from being fearless. So I would change it from doubt to fear. Fear would be it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. So let's talk about you a little more here. So I know you have 2 kids. You have your job in this music business that you've manifested into your life, and are creating for yourself. So when the shit hits the fan, yes, kid, put your kids to sleep. How do you move on? Like, what do you recommend for people to do if they really want to pursue what they truly, truly love and the shit is hitting the fan? Like, what do you recommend that they do?
When the shit hits the fan, it's important to pull back. It's important to pull back and find solitude, and so you can regather. That's what I do for myself. I like to find a moment where I can just gather all my thoughts and see what went wrong, or what is it that I could do better? So introspection, yeah, finding time to reflect on what happened, on the situation. How can it be improved? Well, what can I do better the next time? And never falling into the category of being victim. When we fall into that, then it's an endless loop that falls in your mind, and it's almost hard to get out because you're blaming, and you can never pass that level where you're supposed to get to. So once you wake up to your situation, a person wakes up to their situation and be honest with themselves, then yeah. So I would definitely say pulling back and finding some solitude and to have some introspection.
Awesome. Have you ever, this is just like a side question, just because this happened recently to someone I know who experienced a big trauma at work. And what she ended up doing, and maybe you can relate to this too, is that instead of saying like, yes, you know, the shit's hitting the fan and oh my God, this is happening, you know, poor me, I can't believe it, this always happens. Instead of doing that, right, and playing the victim, she used it to fuel her fire, right? She used it to manifest like more beautiful, wonderful experiences, kept her attitude up, and basically like created a different perspective or mindset, which I like to talk about, and it changed her world. And I think that you kind of talked a little bit about that. When you go introspective and you kind of go back inward and you look at what you're doing and look at yourself, you see how you can then address the situation. Because like what they say is you can't solve the problem with the same mindset that created it, right? So you kind of have to step back, evaluate it, and then use, I would say, don't let that fire dissipate and say, screw it. Use that fire, right, to fuel your new future, your new, you know, wonderful, beautiful future that you're going to create for yourself.
Yes, I totally agree. Whenever a situation, you can use a situation to, any situation that seems painful to fuel your situation, to move you further into what your, whatever your craft is.
Sure.
I would use whatever, my experience is that at that time, whenever I pull it back into solitude, and I start to have introspection, honestly, it's almost, I don't like to use it, it's almost like magic, you know? It's because if you really quiet your mind, it's almost, you can tap into a different, it's hard to explain, but you can tap into another field, a field of consciousness,
it's a different frequency. It's a whole different vibration of being. Absolutely.
And and then you get all these answers. They start popping up, but it's not an easy thing because the mind is full of junk.
Yeah.
And it's like space junk, right? In space, and we have to clean it up. And that's how the mind is. A lot of things are left behind. A lot of pain are left behind. It's like trails. But that's all it is. It's just trails. And so I always like to look at the analogy of a boat. You have to look forward, but when you look back, you see the trail, but there's nothing going on in the back. You just got to look forward.
Absolutely. And
just keep on sailing.
But
definitely, yeah.
So being that you're a lyricist, how do you inspire your kids with your words?
Oh my God. It's a challenging situation. And I'm still learning.
I think that's for life.
Yeah, breadcrumbs from the past. That's true. That's right, Angela. It's true. And those breadcrumbs are basically, we have to leave behind so we can find a new bread, right?
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
So I was saying about your kids, like, how do you inspire your kids with what you're doing, your lyrics, all that?
Okay, so that, it's a little challenging because being that they're much younger, then they don't understand certain things. It's hard for me to explain. So what I've done and what I'm doing is, instead of me trying to teach, I'm just trying to be more of an example of, this is the way I speak, this is the way I walk, and this is the way I live. They would see me help a homeless person, so I would try to show that. So eventually they learned it. I didn't tell them to do it, but I let them see, hey, this is what Daddy does. Mm-hmm. So eventually when they grow up, I hope that they will carry that with them, because I don't want to push anything down their throat. You know, they will have to pick it on their own.
Absolutely. All right. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun, and I can't wait now, because I'm going to give you a little bit of time. We got about 20 minutes. So I want you to start getting ready. For those of you who are on Facebook, he's going to bless us with a bit of his lyricist, you know, musical lyric poetry, whatever you want to call it. What do you call it? What do you call it? What do you call yourself?
It's hip hop, but today I'm just gonna read it as a spoken word.
Awesome.
Versus with no beat, and I'm just gonna read it like in a poem fashion, so that everyone can hear the words, and then hopefully it can resonate.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. So this song is it's called "You Are Powerful." You are powerful. Okay. You are powerful and amazing. Yes, it's true. Every single thing you need is already in you. You're the creator, soul controller of your life every day. Stay rockin' sober. This here's your time manifested in rhymes, truth revealer, glory of all time. Beauty resonates, the art form is extravagant. There's gems inside you waiting, so patient. To bubble up, come up like heat from fire. To blossom like orchids into degrees higher. Master yourself first, then master the world, and you'll be able to help boys and girls. And stay sharp, stay clear, stay focused. In the mud, you'll blossom like lotus. So stay focused on the way. Concentrate as you lead those led astray. And this is the second part. Actually, I'm going to read this part. It says here.
Love it so far.
Thank you. Keep a keen eye, watch your step, guard your mind. Observe the ruckus not attached from the grime. What you occupy mentally will apply, will be amplified over time, spill the shine. Or will it spill it dull due to the things that are inside that you made credible? Love or fear will pour out in time. In your lifetime, try to paint happy designs. Don't lose hope. Be patient. Keep on moving. The human experience isn't easy or soothing. It can be hard, but it's up to us who shapes it. So keep your head up and fake it till you make it. Crack a smile or grin. Take a dive within. No need for drugs or a bottle of gin. Do you want change? Well, it takes time and your action. Step by step, every day, chant affirmations. Okay. Now it's time to start the affirmations. All that I seek is already within me, so why should I ever fret? I am unlimited in all areas, walking with confidence. To take the world with no fear, I proceed with high energy. Yeah, that's right. I am one with the all super powerful force that's found without and within here. I am safe. I am loved. I am free of guilt. From destructive fears and anxiety tilt, I walk calmly and securely, knowing the universe is always guiding me. I am energetic and enthusiastic. Confidence is my second nature. I live here in the present moment and confident. I am confident of the future.
Awesome.
And you should too. Namaste.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome. And there's something I was feeling to do, and I wanted to do it. I don't know who is it for, but I feel to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. For those of you guys, online too, if you guys have questions about Wrdz Dhamma, how he got where he got, you know, how he's progressed through the pain, through the SHTF, and how you can too. Any questions for him, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, definitely. Any questions? And you can always find me here on Facebook,
Yep.
facebook.com/Wrdz Dhamma, and it's spelled as WRDZ DHAMMA. And I'll post everything there.
Yep.
And I believe it's also on Teany's page.
Yeah.
So basically what I want to do is pull out a card from here. I'm going to pull a card from one of these cards, and it's going to give a message for whoever's viewing. And I believe it's going to be for someone that's watching. Give me a second here.
A special message for a viewer out there.
All right. This is what I pulled out. And the card is, what is it? Balance,
oh, it's backwards.
Career.
We can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Balance,
and home
career,
life.
And home life. Yeah. So I don't know what that means. And so whoever it resonates, take it. Usually sometimes I get some messages with these cards and it blows my mind. So I just felt like doing that. Let's see whoever it is for. But I had a great time with this, and
yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Just so you guys know, you can find him on YouTube, Wrdz Dhamma on YouTube, on Facebook, on SoundCloud, and on his website, wrddhamma.bandcamp.com. And I'll post all the links.
Oh, and this, I'm sorry, I just launched my website, wrddhamma.com as well.
Oh, awesome. All right, so we're going to post all the links in there. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for blessing us with your lyrics and with your hip hop lyrics.
Thank you for having me.
It was beautiful, beautiful. I'm a big fan, you guys, of conscious media, whether it's music, whether it's videos, you know, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, all that stuff. You guys see me posting all the time, really only positive stuff. I think there's enough crap that we see in the world, in the news. So it's time to support our musicians, our lyrical, you know, poets, our artists, our actors, you know, all these people who really, really bring good conscious media and messages into the world. So thank you, Wrdz Dhamma, because you are one of those people. Again, find him online, and I'll put the lyrics. And do you have a last message that you'd like to say to the audience before we go?
Well, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and it was a big pleasure and honor for me to be here. And I love you guys, and I want you to always stay encouraged. Please connect to my pages, and it's not, trust me, there's no benefit for me. The benefit is for us and the world. We need this, and we need you, and we want to just continue to build a movement so that we can spread this fire.
Absolutely.
Not just here, but all around the world. And so we want you to ignite that talent that you have, and connect with us, and hopefully we can walk together in this journey.
Yes. Thank you so much. This is Teany Hidalgo from Sanese Wellness. I'm here with Wrdz Dhamma with your Purpose with Passion video series, encouraging you to discover your passions because they will lead you to your purpose. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Peace. Thank you. Bye.